Max daily loss day today. I took two losses in a row in different directions and I shut it down for the day. But that led me to miss clean opportunities later on in the afternoon, which is the downfall of trading too much too soon without enough information as it becomes more clear in the afternoon. But let's take a look at my two trades here. Would have been nice to bounce back, but honestly, it was on a new account, on a challenge account. So no emotion towards that. I lost it as soon as I started it. It's all good. No time wasted. My top one futures instant funded accounts are still alive, well on their way to payout, so that's okay. So that's why I was willing to take these setups as well, because I didn't really care too much. But let's take a look at the first one. I do like this short. We took it on stream, me and Austin, as I like the shorts on a break below New York VWAP. Now I'm coming into the session with a more so bearish bias because of our 15-minute and the way our VWAPs are lined up. So let's pull that up over here on the left side. And you can see coming into the day, we're underneath previous day's New York VWAP here in blue, not once but twice pre-market, and the overnight VWAP after moving down overnight. So I'm still leaning a little bit more bearish that I know the moves often want to happen from this overnight VWAP. And right here at 9:30 is when we're getting that move lower. Now this was our open candle though. Not a lot of showing that sellers can hold down there as it leaves the wick to the downside. So that could have been better, right? We're going to list off all the things that I could have done better today, and hopefully you guys can learn from those lessons as well. Because I think it's a good opportunity to not only take the losses and move on with a better plan, but also see that we're all going to take stupid trades from time to time. Let's just limit how often it happens and the damage on the size when it happens, right? So this is the first break below New York, right? After rejecting that previous day's New York, which also made me like it. So if we move from this overnight view up to the downside on the left side here, I'm going to need to be in that because it's right at my VWAPs. We're moving lower, like lower low, pull back. Let's go make the next lower low. I got to be in that setup. It's all taught on Futures 2.0 and ASFX TV. So I have no problem with that setup. Another small thing, since we're going to try to pick this thing apart, what could have been slightly better is notice how the open is there and we actually made a new body high from there, right? So is that going to be our higher high and now this be our higher low from back here? Well, looks like it. So that could have been a little bit better, although we were still looking bearish on the 15-minute. Not the most ideal structure, but okay, we take the loss on the chin. We didn't move from the daily view up like I wanted to, but now we're breaking outside the open range high. I'm not going to chase the first break of open range high. I made maybe 6 million videos on that of why we don't want to do that. It often doesn't run and not very far if it does. So we let that go, confirming that, hey, yeah, maybe it is going to be bullish today. And I got maybe a little bit too eager to try to get that loss back, that I did wait for some small pullback, a retest of this open range high, the black horizontal level, right? It is a key level retest. There was even a high day view up on there as well that we were taking out slightly. And I want to see now what I thought was trend setting in. I want to go set the trend continuation move. But trend did not continue. It came right back down and my shorts were actually correct the first time. I was just early on. So let's take a look at the 15-minute as well of why this was a little bit tough of a trade on the long side. Going back to last Wednesday, we had pretty much arranged. We had this bottom set in that we just couldn't break below all last week. You can see Wednesday's low, Thursday's low, here on Friday as well, and even all that chop yesterday. This is disgusting. The worst price action to trade, couldn't break below it. So yes, we did dip below it overnight, but we're right back above it. Sellers really couldn't get down there. So this is where we're holding on the support side of things into my shorts. So that could have been better on that first trade, not selling it into that, especially seeing that wick and we're closing back inside it. That's not a good sign at all. But let's go to the top side now. Now it's not as clean of a range, that's for sure. But if you look at yesterday when we were not able to move higher either, all these pins on the top, we're right on top of that as well. So we have some sort of range going on, definitely on the bottom, but you could even argue on the top as well. Now let's go to the next candle here when I'm longing it. After this strong bullish close, finally, that looks extremely bullish, especially like I'm saying with this floor down here. So I'm looking to, okay, trend is now in. Finally, we're going to move one way or another from this overnight VWAP, this black one. I was guessing short. I was wrong. It actually went higher. Okay. So the reason I longed it as early as I did on that small pullback is, okay, we have a strong bullish close. Let's go just continue that momentum because now trend is in. We're breaking out of this range. Finally, let's go. But it came right back down as we're not out of the range. There is no trend to continue because we're not trending still. So very tough conditions, I'd say, even since last Wednesday, because we have this whole floor underneath us, not able to move lower, but also kind of a ceiling above us that it is still more so bearish that if you put on a high day VWAP from what I could have maybe even also done rather than this eager jumping off the open range high, Let it come back down to New York VWAP. Now notice it doesn't break the high day VWAP here, telling you buyers are 100% back in control. I think it's also maybe tough to long that when we just took a look at this 15-minute. After seeing this strong bounce right back down, to long it right back up is kind of tough just mentally of saying, well, that didn't really follow through. So do I believe it's going to follow through now? But it definitely could have. But no break of high day VWAP, because if I were to go back to this move here, we remove that high day VWAP, looks pretty bullish. You're going to say that's our higher low. It's off of New York and previous days New York. How does this thing not go higher? Because we're not actually in a bullish trend. We're stuck in a range that's more so been a little bit bearish. I should also note at this time, NQ is a lot more bearish. Let's go to that price action just throughout this whole morning. NQ never even made an attempt at its open range high. It's been nothing but lower highs, break of lower day VWAP. Here we go. So that also could have kept me out of that long, seeing how bearish NQ is, and same thing on the 15-minute, well below its overnight VWAP. Let's take a look at, let's just circle it over here on the right side. All this noise around New York VWAP when I'm getting in long on ES. Look at those drawings on the left side. Clearly below the daily VWAP. That's not bullish sentiment. If anything, it's way more bearish. And it's even breaking for a new low of week, even though it's only Tuesday. So NQ is a lot more bearish. That's going to hold up my ES longs, which is also why the ES short in the beginning also made sense. So it's a very tricky day. Lots of different variables, I guess you could say. But without overcomplicating it, you look at NQ here. Let's throw on its high day VWAP. Same idea is going to stand of not chasing that first break of open range low. Let it pull back. But don't chase the break above New York thinking buyers are in, because they're not in. I just said we're below this overnight VWAP on the 15-minute. Buyers are not in. We're still underneath another key VWAP. So wait for sellers to step back in, which is going to be the break of lower day VWAP. So that could be either maybe this one there, or maybe that's the stronger break. So sellers are back in. Stop loss at previous structure, and you ride it for a new lower day because the trend is actually bearish. Now after that, the shorts just clearly continue. So this is also why it's very tough to look back on the day when you wasted all your ammo during all this, albeit just noise, right? Pretty choppy, up and down. Are we longing it? Are we shorting it? But then you come in the afternoon outside the open range, pretty clearly bearish. So you don't want to waste all your risk during this so that you can't capitalize on this at all, right? You want to have some ammo left to try to play it because that's going to be the easier setup. So that was also my mistake of going 0 for 2 pretty early on in the day. But again, like I said, fresh account, carefree with it. It's going to happen. Now let's take a look at ES, my favorite play of the day. Still have it marked up. If you just simply wait for all the noise to shake out, say I am short biased, the 15 minutes below VWAPs, I want to short it, but this up here, right, doesn't line up with my shorts yet, so I'm going to hold off until the shorts look good and make sense. Well, then you get a break for a new low a day, strongly, but kind of bounces. But I'd say after this strong break, after another new lower low, well, now on that 15-minute, we're definitely below that range at like 60 or so, right? This level back here we were saying was the bottom of this range. We're definitely below that now. So now the shorts look even more better because there's no potential support below us. Let it pull back, retest the opening range low, same thing, break of lower day view up, easy money. So it just becomes so simple when you just let it get outside the range. And I made a video on it, I think I even made a webinar on it, talked about it at the Tampa event. My best trades come outside of the opening range, either the high or the low. No way to cut it. Outside the range is going to be a little bit more trending ideas and a better sign that trend's likely to continue if we're outside this range. So although I did long and outside the range, the first one here on the short, we didn't break either side of the open range. So could it have worked out? For sure. And I still do like the trade. But I do know my stats would say my best trades come off of this level. So same thing like I was buying it off that level, just fighting the 15-minute. Selling it off that level in line with the 15-minute would definitely be the better play. So hopefully you guys made money on one of these moves to the downside, because even after this one, let it pull back. There's another move in this. Let's anchor to the new low a day. See the most significant pullback here. Seller step in on a break of low a day. Cover the structure up there. Takes on some heat. But what is it still doing? Still making lower highs. You want to be in that short. And let's drag that down. You take it down to the low a day. Nice new low. So clean bearish. And you're going to say, why these two and not these small little pullbacks? Well, you definitely could. To me, it's just not really my cup of tea. It's too small to classify that as a pullback to me. I want to see it actually get away from this lower day VWAP, right? Notice all the gray space in between that. It's actually pulling back away from the VWAP, and now sellers are taking it again. So now it is actually breaking it, right? All these, you're going to have so many lower day VWAP breaks on these small little pullbacks. I want to be a little bit more picky, have a little bit more definition around it so that it doesn't just present every 10 minutes. So that I only have to think 2 or 3 times a day, right? So it's a clean trade in the afternoon, clean trade after stream. Pretty difficult stream, but it is what it is. As long as you guys made money, we're good. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you reach out if you have any questions. Check out AceFX where we were streaming it this morning. Some people in the chat did make money. You don't have to take the setups we take, but take a lesson from the trades we take at the very least and learn the strategy that we're trading on there. You get your first month for free if you just use code FIRST. So if you guys will tune in there, we'll take nice setups the next day and the day after that. Some good lessons on the 15-minute and 1. So see you guys on the chart tomorrow morning.